My first kiss went a little like this. Hello. Kesha is a pop singer who you all probably know by now. She's been away for a while though. I think there was some issues with the label and she couldn't really get away from the label because of all the Dr. Luke stuff going on. But she finally has an album out. I've got to say, I'm not the biggest Kesha fan. I mean, I've never listened to a whole album by Kesha until this one, so I can't really have that too much of a deep opinion on her. But still, kind of kept away from her albums before because I found her quite obnoxious, especially her voice. I've always found a little shrill and but I thought this new album was going to be great because of the single Praying, which is this amazing piano ballad, which I still absolutely love. Like in context of this album, I still think it's like the best song on the album. But I kept away from some of her other singles that she released. She released a Woman as a single, and I think a few others as well. I heard that they weren't too good, so I thought I'd wait till the album. And in context with the album, the people that were saying they weren't good were right because those songs aren't good. Woman is this kind of annoying like empowerment anthem, but it's just the way she sounds on the song is really terrible, and the instrumental as well, backing it so bad. I think the lyrical content could have been okay if it was backed with a good, a good instrumental, good music, but it's just not. And there are plenty of other songs on this album like that too, especially the Eagles of death metal features on this album. Let 'Em Talk being the first one. And I don't know about you, but Eagles of Death Metal with Kesha just doesn't sound like it's a collaboration that would ever work. And clearly, being put into practice, it doesn't work. It sounds such like a corny song, like the way the instrumental sounds is just laughable, to be honest. I don't know why she did this. This wasn't a good choice. And even the lyrics, I hate the lyrics on the song. It's basically like Taylor Swift Shake It Off. It's just that same idea of like, oh, the haters are gonna talk, so just let them talk, and who cares about those people? And I hate stuff like that because it reeks of like, blah. And not only that, but it's just like, oh, you don't care about them, but you're gonna write a song about them, so you probably do care. It just always really pisses me off when I hear it. And then the other Eagles, the death metal song, Boogie Feet. The vocals on this track totally remind me of Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and it sounds like a Yeah Yeah Yeahs anthem. But the difference is that the Yeah Yeah Yeahs haven't put out particularly good music for like nearly 10 years, and emulating that sound now is a little out of date and a little out of touch. And Kesha doesn't pull it off any better than the Yeah Yeah Yeahs could ever have done. Now, those are the rockier sounding songs on this album, which again is quite unique for Kesha. For me, I've never really heard her on these kind of songs before. I could be wrong, I've never listened to much of Kesha. But other than those, it seems like she's followed a similar pattern as to what Lady Gaga did on her last album, and that is being more mature in the sound and making more country sounding songs, which go over kind of okay, just like Lady Gaga's did, but at the same time, I don't know, it's like I don't really know if this is the best sound for Kesha, really. Like, some of the tracks are really good. I'm not gonna lie, like, some of them do sound good, and Kesha of the instrumental sounds pretty decent as well. But it's just something like, I don't know, I just don't feel like I ever want to return to, or I ever wanted Kesha to do this, really. I mean, what's funny as well, earlier in the album when I heard some of these tracks, I was like, this really reminds me of Dolly Parton. And then what made it really funny is that later on in the album, Dolly Parton does actually turn up. This easily ends up being one of the best songs on the album, though, I think because of Dolly Parton and the lyrical aspect of the song, too, talking about how they think about those old lovers and at the end of the night, like when they're kind of feeling lonely, they think back to those people they were with. I really like that kind of lyrical idea, but at the same time, it doesn't really fit Kesha's style or Kesha's like persona that she's put across on this album. Because earlier in the album, she was talking about like, oh, I don't need a man, and and all that stuff. it just kind of contradicts itself. I guess at the same time, it's like she's saying that she doesn't need these things, but then in reality, like she thinks about it, and when she feels lonely, it's actually, exactly what she needs. I wouldn't say this is like a bad or terrible album, but there's so much meh and so much ugh on this album. Like you track "Learn to Let Go," which instrumentally sounds like one of those pop punk bands that went from pop punk to pop, like the power pop sound instead, and tried making like an anthemic chorus, like the "Hey, yeah, 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 yeah." It's not bad, but it's just like it's not really my thing, and I just don't feel like I ever want to listen to it. Then we have Godzilla. I mean, what is Godzilla? Like lyrically, I just don't get it. I mean, if she's trying to be like funny and trying to be like, dumb on this song, then okay, but it's not really funny. I mean, what do you get when you take Godzilla to the mall? Like, and then she goes on to say like how Godzilla does all this bad stuff, and then the cops come, and it's like, what are you talking about? What do you get when you take Godzilla to meet your mom? In terms of sound, yeah, this album has progressed in terms of maturity for Kesha, but lyrically, at points, it's like it really just hasn't. It's just like it's kind of standard generic stuff that it just I don't know. I think at points I like it, but then there are other points where it just kind of fails, like on Boots with the line, um, "If you can't handle these claws, you don't get this kitty." I feel like this is one of those albums that's like about finding yourself, like discovering yourself and how, you kind of accept things have gone wrong, but at the same time, Kesha at points even doesn't really admit that she's done wrong or anything like that, which she might not have. I'm totally okay with that. But in terms of that kind of concept for an album, I think that Casey Deanell already did this way better earlier this year. So if you haven't listened to Casey Deanell's The Imitation of a Woman to Love, then listen to that album because I think that does this way better. But still, I feel like the more I talk about this album, the worse it gets. So I'm just going to leave it there. It's okay at points. Like, it is okay, but there's too much dud, like duds, too many duds that really just ruin the album. I'm gonna say this is a D plus. I would have gone higher, but just listening to some of the songs and the lyrics and stuff, it just kind of doesn't work for me. But yeah, if you like this album, then keep listening to it and let me know what you think about it in the comments. And subscribe to the channel if you like this review, and have a good day.